Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I am going to review 3 mineral or physical type sunscreens from the same brand Cotz. So Cotz is an American brand who was created by a doctor, a plastic surgeon, and the goal of the brand was and still is to only create mineral type sunscreens. So mineral type sunscreens or chemical type sunscreens both protect your skins against UV rays. They just do it in a different way by using different type of ingredients. Most sunscreens on the market are chemical type sunscreens because they are easier to formulate, and as a consequence you get a more appealing and elegant formula which can almost look like a moisturizer. As a consequence, we tend to use it generously and have no issues to reapply it. Sunscreens, in order to protect your skin, should be applied generously and should be reapplied throughout the day, so that is very important. On the opposite side, mineral sunscreens historically tend to not be that elegant. They are difficult to formulate, so many people don't like it because it's not convenient to apply it on your skin, and it is even less convenient to reapply it throughout the day. Also, mineral type sunscreens usually tend to leave a very noticeable white cast, which obviously is even more noticeable when you have a deep or dark skin tone. And also they tend to be drying, but these ones are different, as you will see. So why should anyone try mineral sunscreens? Well, although chemical type sunscreens have their benefits, they also have their flaws, and the problem is that with their ingredients, if you have sensitive eyes like I do, there is a high chance that your eyes might sting. And same for your skin. If you have very sensitive skin, the probability of your skin to break out or to be irritated is higher with chemical type sunscreens. There are many reviews on YouTube on mineral sunscreens, but none of them was appealing to me until I started to read the comment section, and one brand was always coming up when someone was saying that they had the best experience with mineral sunscreen, and it was always from the brand Cotz. So last year I decided to order one of their sunscreen, and it is the Flawless Complexion Sunscreen SPF 50 Broad Spectrum. This sunscreen comes in a tube like the two other sunscreens I'm going to show you. And when you look at the cream, you can see that the color is quite scary, especially when you have a very deep or very dark skin tone, because you might wonder, how is this going to blend into my complexion? But well, it does blend, as you can see. And the texture is a thick, creamy, watery texture. And the finish is very moisturizing. So this is a type of sunscreen that will work well if you have dry skin, normal skin type as well. In the winter, if you have combination skin, you might be able to work with it. Now, if you have a very oily skin, I do not advise this sunscreen for you. And if you are looking for a matte finish, definitely that is not the sunscreen for you. It blends very nicely, it disappears on the skin, but of course, as it is creamy, you have to take your time in order for the color to disappear. It does feel kind of thick on the skin because it is a mineral type sunscreen, so do not expect it to feel like a moisturizer, although it has a better formula than other mineral sunscreen I have seen. Because I was nicely surprised with the Flawless Complexion sunscreen, I decided to order another one while expecting it to be less moisturizing for my combination oily skin, and I ordered the Face Prime and Protect Tinted SPF 40 sunscreen. And when you look at it, it is also tinted. The tint is a little bit darker than the one from Flawless Complexion, so I thought it would be perfect for me, but as you can see, it was not. Actually, I had several issues with this sunscreen. First, you might wonder, but why do you use this as a sunscreen if it is called a primer? Well, when you look at the website, it's not explained that you can only use this as a primer. It is explained that you can use this as your main sunscreen, but because of the texture, it can also work great as a primer, as it does not feel greasy or is too moisturizing. But as a sunscreen itself, you have to be able to apply several layers of sunscreen throughout the day. And even with the one thin layer which I applied in the video, I had a noticeable white cast. And actually, when I looked at the footage of the video, the white cast is not as visible on the camera compared to what I see in real life. On real life, it was much more obvious. And when I tried to apply a second layer a few hours later, it was horrible. I was looking like a ghost. And the thing is, because it is like a primer, it does not melt into your skin. It's like you are depositing a layer of product on your skin and it's still there. It does not blend, it does not disappear. And when you have to apply another layer, you're just applying a layer of product on top of a layer of another product. So it's weird because you are trying to spread the second layer of product and you can see that the first layer is still there and is also moving. So even if this sunscreen matches your skin tone, that is not something I can recommend to anyone to wear as your only sunscreen, because I don't know how you are going to reapply it. Actually, when I looked at this footage, I realized that the lighting did not show how much it was of a white cast. So I filmed myself again in my bathroom so you can understand better exactly what I'm saying. I actually use this as a primer for this video, but because again it is still thick, I had to use thin texture SPF first before I applied this primer on top. And still, because the color is still visible and I don't want to use a ton of foundation in order to make that color disappear, I could only apply a small amount of primer. So I don't know, I don't see the point of this sunscreen even if you skin tone match the skin tone of a sunscreen. I think it's only interesting if you use primers and you use this as your primer, but as you can't really apply a thick layer, it's just a small addition of your sunscreen that you should wear underneath regardless. I ordered the sunscreen number 3 with sunscreen number 2 because I saw on the comment section on YouTube that although that sunscreen is not tinted, it also works on deep skin tone. So this sunscreen is the sensitive non-tinted SPF 40 for face and body. The packaging of this one is bigger, and as you can see, it looks white. The texture is also thick, and compared to the first sunscreen, the Flawless Complexion sunscreen, it is less watery. It feels more like a regular mineral type sunscreens, which usually tends to be dry and they tend to have a thick, dry texture. When you apply it on your skin, it's quite easy to apply, and the color that you see at the beginning although it takes a little bit of time, but it blends easily and it almost disappears again like it did for the Flawless Complexion. The reason I say almost disappear is because you seeing the sunscreen through the camera, but the camera sometimes changes the light, although I use daylight. When I look at myself in the mirror, I see a slight difference in my skin tone with the Flawless Complexion and also with this one, but it is barely noticeable and only me can tell the difference because I know my complexion perfectly, but strangers would not notice any difference. This sunscreen is moisturizing, but to me it is not as moisturizing as the Flawless Complexion. To finish, would I recommend these sunscreens? Yes, but not all of them. I would definitely not recommend the primer because I told you why. Now I'm gonna use it, or I'm gonna find someone whose skin tone match with this primer, but I would only advise that person to use it as a primer on top of their sunscreens and not as the main sunscreen. The Flawless Complexion, which I got last year, as you can see, I've used it. I used it mainly in the winter time because in the summertime it is too oily for me, and I would recommend it for any complexion. If you have dry skin, normal skin, combo skin in the winter, but not for oily skin and not if you're looking for a matte finish. The sensitive non-tinted sunscreen is a sunscreen that I would recommend for normal skin, combination skin, and oily skin as well, because it is less moisturizing than the Flawless Complexion, so I think you can work with it. But again, this is not a matte finish, so if you're looking for a matte finish, it is not for you either. I was gladly surprised by this brand because I'm aware of many mineral type sunscreens. I've tried many outside of YouTube and I was always disappointed, and from all the mineral sunscreens, I think they are the best, and I've seen YouTube reviews on all the last mineral sunscreens and they all leave a white cast if you apply the proper amount on the skin. These ones do not. So if you are looking for a mineral sunscreen, look at this brand, and as I said, they have other sunscreens on their website, so I will let you check that website. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video that will be again a sunscreen review. Bye bye!